Hey guys, double wide 6, and I've been seeing more and more of these Kohler 149cc 6.5 horsepower engines on small lawnmowers. Big box stores are selling them, they're selling them online, and I've had a few in the shop. I just want to talk a little bit about them. Here's the engine we're talking about. It's on a Toro recycler, 6.5 horsepower, 149, and it's a Kohler, same company that makes the bath faucets. I think they're out of Wisconsin or something. But I figured I'd just go over a little bit about this engine just because these are really popular. I just wanted to point out something here. I'm zoomed in on the air filter cover, and you can see that the EPA emissions compliance period for this engine is 125 hours. All that means is that this lawnmower engine will meet the EPA's air standard for 125 running hours if it's maintained properly. It does not mean that the engine is only rated to run for 125 hours. It just means that it'll be within the pollution standards. It's guaranteed. The EPA actually requires that. You'll see that label on small engines. And the 125 hours is for a residential mower. And then the next level or tier would be, I think it's like 250 hours. And the last tier is a 500 hour EPA compliance period, and that would be for like a commercial engine. But a mower like this would be for, you know, a residential mower, and if you use it 20 hours a season, it should last for about 10 to 12 years or so before it's out of compliance. And obviously better engines have parts that don't wear as fast, therefore they don't pollute, you know, stronger piston rings, different materials, heat treating, and that type of stuff. As you may have already figured out, this engine's actually made in China. And most of them are. And a lot of these engine manufacturers, you know, they might assemble them in the US, but most of the parts are made in China. Some of the entire engines are made in China, and it's getting harder and harder to find engines made in the US. So the first thing here is they have a pretty wide gas tank cap, makes it a little bit easier to fill, which is nice. And it also has a good sized tank. I have a Honda that doesn't take as much gas as this, just from the looks of the tank. And I believe, you know, where the fuel comes through here, I'm pretty sure there's a screen in there to help filter it. It's not a bad idea to put your own inline filter on here with all the problems we're having with gas and ethanol and all that. The other thing here, there's a muffler guard to help protect you, and I think these mowers are pretty quiet as far as the noise level. So I like that, and they're made to be easy to start. The oil dipstick here, it just opens in a quarter turn, which is kind of nice. I mean, it's not a big deal, but it's something to show you. We're going to pull off the cover here. Stay tuned. We'll be giving away a grip magnetic tool tray at the end of the video. Alright, so another thing with the pull start, these dogs, there's two dogs, they're both metal, which is real nice. I know some of the brands have plastic dogs there. And we'll pop off our cover and we'll take a look in here. Coil, flywheel, it's got a fan, obviously it's air cooled. Another thing is, because this thing's easy to start, all you have to do is pull it. And this here It's one of the things that I see go wrong with these. It's an auto choke, and a lot of times these auto chokes end up breaking on these. And I do have a video, I'll link it to this video, on how to repair that. But otherwise, you know, here's the engine. It looks pretty good from what I can see. Another thing about this engine is it has the overhead valves, and I believe this engine actually has a gasket in here where I've seen some of the Chinese engines, they just use like gasket maker, and if you want to adjust the valves, it's much easier to adjust the valves on an overhead valve engine compared to like a flathead engine. So you know, I prefer to have a gasket there, so you know, I could pop off that cover, adjust the valves, and put it right back on. Where if they're sealed with sealer, it's kind of a messy job, and you know, I think the sealer tends to leak. This engine is actually, I believe they call it a Courage engine, and you know, the Courage, like riding mower engines, the bigger ones, like these engines with the twin cams, those engines have had all kinds of problems. You know, as far as blocks cracking and bolts coming loose, and there's, you know, there's plastic cams in them. They're not really a good engine in my opinion, and I believe this engine has the same name with the Courage. Obviously the Command is Kohler's commercial line, but that we're not looking at a commercial mower, so we can't really compare those two. It's not apples and apples. The internals on this engine look pretty good. First thing that it has is a cast iron liner to prolong the cylinder. It also has a complete metal camshaft, where I know some of the other Courages are plastic. And it's splash lubrication, and I believe the crankshaft on this engine, I read that it was forged and not cast, and that helps to make it stronger and prolong it. So that's a general overall look of the engine. I think it's a pretty good engine. As I mentioned earlier, I don't think any of these big manufacturers would use this engine if it was complete junk. And I think the bottom line is you need to take care and maintain any engine that you have if you want it to last. Last step here, we're going to give the engine a cold start just so you can hear it. What you'll notice is you don't have to choke anything or prime anything. And this engine is really a quiet engine. Today's contest is sponsored by Grip Tools. There's the logo, Grand Rapids Industrial Products. And we're going to be giving away a magnetic tool tray. I really like these. You've seen them a lot in many of the projects that I've done here on YouTube. So in order to enter in the contest, all you have to do is give the video a thumbs up and leave a comment. In about a week or so, we're going to pick a winner. Thanks for watching, and thanks for supporting, guys. I appreciate it. Take care and good luck.